recap of what we have done so far. So, if you talk about data mining, it can be applied to describing and predicting objects or instances. That is, it can be used to classify objects. For example, this is a figure of an image of a French toast. So if you give your classifier images like this, it will gradually learn that how a French toast looks like. So this is also a French toast. This is also an instance of French toast, and this is also a French toast. Now the algorithm will be able to decide whether the test image or a given image is a French toast or not. So if you ask your algorithm, it will be able to determine that this particular image is also a French toast. That's what we have done in classification. So one more record and that also becomes a French toast, but this is not a French toast. So your algorithm should be such that it should be able to distinguish between these two kind of toasts. So whether it's a French toast or not. So, and then we have talked about how you can compare these models. So to decide which gives the best prediction, and we have learned that only accuracy is not the right metric to determine the goodness of the algorithm. So describing or predicting objects in the real world is known as classification. And another important application for data mining is association rule mining. So, can anyone give me an idea of what is an association rule mining? Just a thought. What comes to your mind when you talk about when I use the word association rule? Anyone? No clue? Anyone who can talk to me about the word association? Okay, something in the chat box. Interlinked. Okay, Pooja, what could be interlinked? Any clue? What interlinking are we thinking about here? Can you type in the chat box what interlinking you are thinking about here? Cooperating. Okay. What things could cooperate? Like sales transaction. Okay, interlinking between basic and more advanced stuff. Not exactly, Pooja, not interlinking between basic and advanced stuff. Okay. Sachin is saying talking about sales transaction. What can we determine what kind of cooperation we can determine in a sales transaction? Can you think of an example? Okay, we pay money and get goods. So we are basically there is a cooperation between the customer and salesperson. Are you saying something like that? Okay, so this is not exactly what the direction you people are going into. Okay, let me tell you. So in association rule mining, what happens is, let's say that Okay, now we are taking a case study of a young American who goes to Walmart to buy diapers from a store. So what is he likely to buy? What you can think, okay, since he's buying diapers, so he will buy diaper cream. So basically there is an association between diapers and diaper cream. That if somebody is buying diapers, then he's likely to buy diaper cream or baby oil. Why would he be buying diapers? Because there would be probably a baby for him, for which he would be buying diapers. So what comes to our mind is that if he needs diaper, then probably a diaper cream or baby oil is also required. Okay. So will he be buying beer? So I mean, is there any link between beer and diapers? Anyone who thinks that somebody who goes on to buy diapers will also be buying beer? No. Okay. Somebody who agrees that he can buy beer, not an issue. Okay, but to make him buy beer, okay, you are saying that you would want to set the beers first in the stocking area or in your store, and then you place diapers. That's what you are saying, Sachin? Okay, so you are saying, what I interpret is that although he is not likely to buy beer, still you are placing your stocks in such a way that he is more inclined to buy them. Okay, that's one good thought. Anyone who can think that if there is so we know intuitively that there is an association between diaper and diaper cream. Somebody who needs diapers may also be interested in buying diaper creams. But can anyone think of a possible association between diapers and beers, that somebody who's buying diapers is also interested in buying a beer? Anyone? Is this kind of an association a good association that you can think of? Obviously, buying anything in a cart is possible. You can buy any number of products. But what here we are thinking is that whether a person is more likely to buy beer along with diapers or not. So intuitively, what are your thoughts? Yes or no? Is he more likely to buy beer, or is he more like, or he is not likely to buy beer? Just a simple yes or no would do. What is your intuition? You can type in the chat box just a simple yes or no. Okay, Sachin is saying no. No. Lalit is also saying no. Anyone else? Only two people are responding. Anyone else? Pooja. Okay. Yeah, he can as per need. Obviously, there is no restriction what a person can buy if he goes to Walmart or Big Bazaar. Obviously, he can buy anything that is on the stock. But we are just thinking, we are just thinking out aloud that, if you are a marketing manager or if you are in the sales department and you have to analyze the transactions, and without looking at them, you're just simply making an intuition, a good guess, that what a person is likely to buy. Because as Sachin said, you might need to place items in such a way that they get bought. So we are just thinking that okay, what a person is more likely to buy. So we according to our thinking, somebody who is buying a diaper is more likely to buy a diaper cream. But then there is a question that whether a person who's buying diaper and you are a marketing manager, would you think that he is also likely to buy beer? That's the question. That would you be will this thought cross your mind that okay, if he needs diaper, he might also need beer? That's the question, Pooja. Okay, so Pooja is saying no. So we have three no's. Anyone for a yes? It's a simple yes or no answer. I think you can respond. Pratika also says no. Okay. So nobody is thinking for him to buy a beer. Okay. As for now, Yashi also disagrees. Okay. Okay. So I will go with these answers. So from those of you responded, we are not intuitively guessing. That is, if your store manager comes and says that okay, tell me what a customer is more likely to buy. So if somebody is buying bread, he might need eggs also for breakfast, or he might need butter also for breakfast. So you are saying okay, if he's buying bread, then give let me make a package that if you buy breads and egg together, so there will be 20% discount, because I feel that breads and eggs most customers buy together. So that is what association is. But intuitively, if you think, beer is not what comes to mind when you have been given that somebody is buying diapers. But a careful analysis shows that although it's very it's very surprising or unrelated or completely vague for a person to buy beer, but analysis shows that this association is not just possible, but it is highly likely, even more likely than somebody buying a diaper cream. So why? I will not go into the justification of it. Probably he needs to relax with after all that stress of the entire week where he spent the sleepless nights. But this association of somebody buying diaper and beer along with the diaper is very interesting, and it occurs more frequently than what you would have thought about this. So if you count the numbers of the numbers on the number of transactions where diapers and beer come together, it is more likely that diapers and beer come together as compared to diapers and diaper cream. So there is an unsurprising or some unrelated fact that we uncovered, and this was something which was not intuitive. As a human, it would not come to your mind. For that, you need to study data. A Walmart has millions and millions of transactions across all its stores. So when you analyze all these transactions, you get a good association between diaper and beer, which you would not have thought of, because I assume yes. So Sachin and Pooja, I can't actually discern the reason why he would be buying, but what we are focusing on here is that this is a highly likely scenario. So this could be, yes, maybe due to Friday evening or for a weekend party. Although I don't know how many parents for a for an infant are up for a party, they would really want to relax. So or 70% of Americans drink alcohol. So Lalit agrees. So we can't actually go into the reasons why these could be very well valid reasons. But for association rule mining, what we are talking here is our focus is not why he is buying it, but our focus is what he is buying together and what most people are buying together. Why? Because in a store like Walmart, you would want to place items, as Sachin said, that he would want to place items such that they get bought together. So if you discover or uncover an association like this, why not place beer along with diapers? And since he is likely to buy and they are placed together, he would not have to rush across the sections or across you know that there are various sections in Reliance or Big Bazaar or stores like this. So he would not have to rush across different sections, far across sections, to buy diaper as well as beer. And it might also dissuade him, because if he has to walk so much. So if you have found an association, why not bring these items together and place them together in your mind? So that could be the placement is one reason why you would need to uncover such an association rule. Another reason could be, there is something called cross marketing. Can anyone tell me what is cross marketing? Cross marketing. Anyone can think of cross marketing? These are interesting applications for association rule mining, and you might have seen a lot of examples. Marketing across channels, marketing across multiple areas. Ajay, what do you mean by areas? I didn't get it. Lalit, I'll come back to you. Uh, I'll come back to you, Lalit. Ajay, multiple areas mean? Okay. Okay, Vibhu has an interesting answer. Okay, so I think Ajay is talking about locations. Okay, Sachin, very nice. And Lalit is talking about multiple channels. Lalit is talking about different platforms. Um, so Lalit, what I understand across platforms and channels, if you are marketing, it is known as omni-channel marketing. You are advertising on laptop, you are advertising on mobile, you are advertising out of home, or you are advertising on TV, you are advertising on email or via SMS, or maybe in Facebook feed. So that is omni-channel marketing. When we are talking about cross marketing, I think Vibhu and Sachin are pretty close to this answer. Vibhu is saying that if somebody is buying a digital camera, he may also buy a memory card. And digicam and memory card may be manufactured by different companies. For example, collaboration between multiple brands, as Sachin said. So you might have seen various advertisements, Colgate के साथ सोप फ्री मिल जाता है कई बार, ये किसी ऑयल के साथ कोई क्रीम, किसी और ब्रांड की क्रीम मिल जाती है. And it's completely vague कि यार ये how is it this combination is possible, and why are two brands partnering? But that partnership is basically cross marketing, that if you buy this, you get a discount on some other product of some other company. So yeah, yes, Pooja, oil and shampoo combination. So what is happening is, if you are able to uncover association rules, you can use them to place the products. You can decide the pricing of different products. For example, one good thing could be, okay, let me give a discount on diapers, and let me uh, inflate the price of beer. So what you're saying, that if you're discounting on diapers, you'll be very happy. Okay, there's a discount on diapers, and you are inflating the price of beer. You know that both of them are bought together. So as a store, you are not losing out on your profits, but the customer is thinking that I got a discount on diapers. So pricing can be determined, what kind of package deals or cross marketing you can do, what kind of product placement you can do. That is one application of association rule mining. So we will be, so generally it is applied in market basket data, where you have store transactions and you analyze and then think about how to use this information or use this knowledge to sell your products. Okay. Yes, yes, Ajay, tea and biscuit also. So no, not LOL. It's actually that is one good example. Yes. So association rule mining will help you find an interesting patterns or relationships or associations. So basically, associations, relationships, or patterns, these are the three words we will be using interchangeably, and you will find a large set of data items. So I am talking about here, I am talking about millions of transactions. It's not just 10 or 15 transactions, millions of transactions we are talking about. Obviously, for examples, we will be taking only 10 transactions and we will be doing that, but in general we are talking about stores like Walmart, Big Bazaar, or Reliance. Okay. So given a set of items, we can find rules that can help us determine which subsets of items are frequently bought together or frequently occur together. Apart from market basket analysis, this is known as market basket analysis, that you know what is in the customer's cart. cart. Acha, there is one more application apart from cross marketing and product pricing and product placement. Can you think of that in market basket analysis also? Can you think of what other application is there in marketing for association rule mining? We have seen it a lot of times. So as a marketer, you would say, okay, let me offer discounts, let me place products together, or what else? There's one more thing that you can do. Happens in Amazon app or online shopping apps. You have seen it a lot of times. Okay, gift coupons or EMI. So, okay, that's one thing. Anything else? Yes, yes, Pooja, very nice. It's known as recommendations. Yes, Sachin, recommendations. That is, customers who bought this also bought this, or you might also like this. You might have seen a lot of that on your Amazon or Flipkart, I think. So, or maybe some suggestions. Feedbacks, Vibhu. Can you just elaborate? If I'm missing something, I'm not sure. Can you just elaborate on feedbacks? I'm not pretty clear about this. So, Okay, feedback from customer about product. And how association could be linked to that? I'm not actually sure. So okay, if you can help me understand. Maybe it is linked. I'm not sure what you're saying. Okay, maybe yes. Okay, great. Fine. So, in market basket analysis, we have understood various applications of association rule mining. Is there anything apart from Walmart or anything, apart from the shopping thing or marketing thing? Is there any other example you can think of where association rule mining could be linked? You have seen those examples on internet. Now you just have to connect the dots. Just think about it. Okay, Pooja, search engines, how? Very nice. How? Can you elaborate? You're on the right track, Pooja. I would just need something more from you. Mm, basically, you're trying to say to figure out related documents if yeah something that's very useful or more frequently visited is one thing, ranking is decided on that. Then how many documents link back to this article, that is also one thing which leads to the ranking, and also the related pages. So Pooja, you were on a right track. Okay, then there is so search engine. Nice one, Pooja. Okay, one thing is yeah. So one more thing is related to medicine. If you can figure it out. Can you think about something association rule mining in medicine? Any application in medicine? It's related to medicine, field of medicine. Clubbing together medicines for the same illnesses. Actually, I don't know if doctors do it, but salts are different, so we might not be clubbing medicines. But okay, Pooja. Has anyone tried the symptom checker online? WebMD. हेडेक हो रहा है प्लस yes Lalit, yes. So maybe underlying, so there is if you have a symptom, then it's not necessarily that what is obvious may be the root cause. There are some underlying causes also. I think if you have seen symptom checkers on WebMD or other websites, you type in your systems on your symptoms and they give you possible related diseases. obviously I recommend you not do it because they give you a lot of scary ones also. But so symptom checkers are one things which correlate uh, the symptoms as well as the diseases. So that is one example. So when if last year we know that COVID was not known and there was not much study, that's why it was known as a novel coronavirus. Now doctors and scientists know much more about it 1 year on. But at that point of time, if you just search the internet, you will find a lot of research papers which are linking different symptoms and to understand how the virus behaves. So their association is important. You know, initially they were treating it as a respiratory problem because and people were being put on ventilators, if you remember. So they were treating it as a respiratory problems because the symptoms were you know in line with respiratory problems and pneumonia and all. But later on they discovered, you know, after studying the images of the scans of the uh, patients and how various medicines reacted and how the virus progressed in the human immune system. So they were able to find out that it's not a respiratory problem but the problem of blood clotting. So I don't know if you have studied or read about it, but you know all these things can be, you know, these correlations or associations can be discovered using association rule mining also. So if you have a lot of data to study, you can mine frequent patterns and understand what is happening in most of the patients, and then probably identify the core problem or maybe the root cause of that problem. So in my medical diagnostics, association rule mining can be used. Okay, so let's go ahead. So this is just an introduction. We are not talking about algorithms today. We will discuss that next week. So given a set of items, we can find rules that help us determine which subsets of items frequently occur together. So typical applications are market basket analysis, cross marketing, catalog design, medical diagnostics. Catalog design means, you know, when you are designing a catalog to give it to your customers, how you want to place. For example, when you are selling a property, you know, there are big builders like Omex and Adani and DLF. They build apartments and then they build catalogs to sell those apartments. So how these catalogs are designed is also based on association rule mining. For example, you know, people prefer schools within 1 kilometer location, hospital within 1 kilometer location. They would prefer, some people would prefer pools and some people would prefer a gym near their apartments or in their clubhouses. So maybe the location of the a nearby popular market is a factor. So to design and emphasize on several features like this, or maybe the view, you know, some people are very uh, keen on the view of from their home. So catalog design can be done using association rule mining. So you will find patterns and then you will design the catalog based on what interests your end customer the most. So you are going to focus on those features. So it's not just for realtors, it could be for any product for that matter. For example, a mobile device management company can say that okay, now you know remote work is, people are doing remote work. So an MDM company will say that okay, just install my software on your employee's laptop, even though it's a personal laptop or on a personal phone, and this software will ensure that okay, people are not people will not be able to upload the code on GitHub, or you know, not compromise the security of your code or data. So what features or what problems are occurring in remote work things, they will be able to emphasize on those and find solutions to those. So I hope that you would really be interested in studying association rule mining, given its applications are a lot. If anyone has a question, they can ask me. Any questions? Okay, so we'll start with the basics. Now consider this market basket. So this one row is known as a transaction, and a transaction will have a transaction ID. In each transaction, there will be some item sets. So bread is one item set, milk is one item set, and this combination is also one item set. So for example, in this transaction, you have bread, diaper, beer, and eggs, item sets of size 1, bread, diaper, bread, beer, and bread, eggs, item sets of size 2, diaper, beer, and diaper, eggs, and beer and eggs of size 2. Then bread, diaper, beer, size 3, bread, diaper, egg, size 3, diaper, beer, egg, size 3, and I think I've covered all of size 3. Then size 4 item set is this. So uh, within a transaction, there are various items, and you can make size 1, size 2, or size n item sets. Obviously, the largest item set will be the size of the transaction itself. Okay, so this is how typically your transaction will look like. One more thing that we in the association rule mining that we are studying for your course, we are not talking about the quantities. Okay, see, quantities change the game altogether. It becomes a different problem. So we will just focus on what items were brought together and not the quantities. Then if you try to include quantities, it becomes a different problem that we will be solving. But we will not be solving that problem. We will be solving the problem of what items frequently occur together. So a typical market basket consists of millions of such transactions. So basically, we all are going for shopping. So what your big bazaar cart looks like and what my big bazaar cart looks like. So if you have bought your entire month's grocery, you would see people have stuffed their carts with a lot of stuff. But that all that stuff is known as one transaction. Okay. So if I buy, atta, bread, dals, a lot of dals, sugar, oil, soaps, shampoos, dishwashers, toilet cleaners, and all that stuff. So if I buy it together, then that makes up for one transaction. Okay. So if something is, sometimes I forget something, then I go back and buy, then and I just buy one item, then that becomes a different transaction. So whatever is bought together, no matter what is the size of the transaction, it could be 100 or it could be one item in the transaction. So association is transaction based. There can be multiple items in a transaction. All items in a transaction belong to set of all items in the market basket data set. Basically आपकी इन्वेंट्री में जितने आइटम्स हैं, मतलब शॉप में जितने पॉसिबल आइटम्स हैं, आपका आइटम सेट उस सुपर सेट से बनता है. ठीक है. T is a set of transactions, so you will have millions of transactions. Tj contains, each transaction contains elements from item set I. I think this is pretty simple to understand, I hope. So in this The entire database had bread, milk, diapers, beer, eggs, and cola. Maybe some more items which were not brought. So this is the entire item set or inventory which was there in the store, and transaction set is transaction 1 2 3 4 5. So an item set is a collection of 0 or more items, and a k item set has k items. So for example, one item set will have one items, two item sets will have two items. So this is a two item set, and you can make one item set out of this. This is a four item set. You can make 1 2 3 4 item sets out of this. Again, this is a four item set, and four item set. So when you are saying k item set, it is telling you the number of items in that item set. So this just a repeat. Bread, milk, diapers, and beer is a four item set. Bread is one item set. A null item set contains no items. Okay, transaction width is the number of items present in a transaction. So just be careful when I am talking about item set. I can say that bread is one item set, milk is one item set, bread comma milk is two item set. But when I am talking about a transaction, the width of this transaction will be 2, because the entire transaction contains all the items that were bought together. So there is a difference between transaction and item set. Transaction is all the entire cart that was bought together, and then you can make item sets out of those. So width of this transaction is 2, for this it is 4, and so on. And if a transaction Tj contains item set X, it is only possible if item set X is the subset of Tj. And you notice this equal to sign, so that this simply means that the entire transaction is its own item set. So bread one item set, diapers one item set, beers one item set, eggs one item set. Then the combination of twos and threes, and then four item set, bread, diapers, beer, and eggs is also a subset of transaction. If you have a question now, you can ask me. Okay, so X is bread and milk. So bread and milk is a subset of transaction 1. It's not a subset of transaction 2. It's not a subset of transaction 3. It is a subset of transaction 4, and it is a subset of transaction 5. Because bread and milk is an item set of T1, and I think T4 and T5. So, association analysis is discovery of interesting relationships in large data sets. Here we are only talking about 5. So you will have millions of transactions, and association rules or set of frequent items can be represented. So association rules are basically how you are representing the set of frequently occurring items together in this kind of database. And you can represent association rules in this form. For example, diapers goes to beer. That means if this item is bought, then this also is bought. So the above rule suggests that many customers who buy diapers also buy beer. You can see that co-occurrence here: beer and diapers, beer and diapers, beer and diapers. So out of 5 transactions, 3 transactions are having beer and diapers. It can help you in cross-selling, and somebody said product placement, and also pricing strategy for the retailer. Diapers goes to beer may not necessarily means beer goes to diaper. That is, people who buy diaper also buy beer. May not necessarily mean people who buy beer also buy diaper. So you have to be careful about that, that x goes to y and y goes to x are two different things. So if you notice here, somebody has somewhere a beer has been bought, but I think diapers. No, that's not an example here. So association rule is an implication. X implies Y, where X is the antecedent and Y is the consequent. And X implies Y is not same as Y implies X. That we have to remember. Okay. You will discover, you might not agree to it, कि जहाँ पे अगर डायपर्स और बियर साथ आ रहा है तो उल्टा भी साथ आएगा. That is a common argument that a lot of students give me, but that's not the case. We will discover it when we will try to compute these rules. You will find that it may not necessarily be true. Now, what are the problems when we try to discover such rules? Basically, you are counting the number of occurrences of x and y and x in this case. So, when you are counting, that means you are scanning the entire data set. And entire data set, you are scanning all the transactions and then maintaining their counts. Consider billions of transactions. You know, Walmart has several stores in the same location and across locations, and each store has a lot of transactions. Club all these transactions and you will get a very massive data set. So finding the association rules is computationally expensive, and sometimes you get spurious patterns. Spurious patterns means which are not of any use, and you will find some patterns. They are like, by chance patterns. So I'll give you an example of by chance pattern. Suppose there is something that I don't need, but somebody else, near my family or in my neighborhood or somebody needs that item, and I don't buy it generally. But due to some reason, that item I have bought, or maybe I bought an item by mistake. Then in such a case, and suppose this occurrence happens in, by chance occurrences that happen in and can happen in a lot of other transactions also, which are not meaningful. Such kind of patterns which are not of any utility to you are known as spurious patterns. They are by chance patterns. We will discover them also. And how you will do association rule mining. You will understand your market basket data to be a presence to be represented in a binary format, where 1 is the presence of item and 0 is the absence of an item. And we will focus more on ones. And you will discover that this will be a sparse matrix. Why? For example, if you have 1,000 items in your inventory and somebody is buying bread and milk, only bread and milk will have entries 1. All other 998 items will have entry 0. But for us, presence of an item is more important than its absence. So we are focusing on items that have been marked 1. So this is the binary representation or 0-1 representation of this particular transaction market basket data. So what are the metrics that we can use in association rule mining? First important matrix is support count, which is given by this small letter sigma. Support count is the number of transactions that contain a particular item set. So X is the item set, and you will scan for X in each transaction and count. So basically, how many transactions bread occurs? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So support count of bread is 4. Support count of milk is 1, 2, 3, 4. So support count of milk is 4. Now, what is the support count of bread and milk? So it is also an item set. 1 and 2 and 3. So support count of item set bread comma milk is 3. And dot denotes the number of elements in the set. We'll see, just see now. So if X is milk and diapers, it occurs in transaction 3, transaction 4 and transaction 5. So support count of transaction for support count for item set. So this is not the transaction, this is the item set. So this item set occurs in 3 transactions. So support count is 3 because these 3 transactions contain item set X. And association rule is given by X implies Y, and X and Y are disjoint. That is, if an item is occurring on the left side, it cannot occur on the right side. That is, intersection of item set X and intersection of item set Y is 5. X and Y are item sets. You remember, it's not the transaction, these are the item sets. So you could have beer goes to diaper, and you could have bread comma milk goes to butter. So basically you can have any number of items in this because it is an item set, and any number of items in this because this is also a item set. So a strength of X goes to Y can be measured using support and confidence. Remember, support count and support are two different things. Support count is the number of transactions a particular item set occurs in. But support and confidence are together used to measure the strength of a transaction. And let's see how. Support means how often a rule is applicable to a data set. So for X implies Y, support of X goes to Y is support count of X union Y divided by N, where N is the number of transactions and X union Y means total number of transactions where both X as well as Y occur. So support is the fraction of transactions that contains both item sets X and Y. So now you see the difference. Support count is how many times a particular item set occurs in a transaction database, and support is basically if given a rule, if you have been given a rule, then thank you, if you have been given a rule, then item set X and item set Y, where so you have to count all the transactions where both X and Y occur together and divide them by N. This is support. If you have a question, please ask me now. Okay, I'm assuming no questions. So X union Y is basically support count of X and Y together. That is the number of transactions that contain both X and Y, and N is the number of transactions in your entire data set. So milk comma diapers go to beer implies beer. So here X is milk comma diapers. So X item set is 2 item set milk diapers and Y is 1 item set beer. So support count of X union Y is what? Milk, diapers and beer have to occur together. Milk, diapers, but beer is not occurring. Here beer, but milk is not occurring. Beer, milk and diapers. So we got one transaction. Then beer, milk and diapers. I got one more transaction. But there it is 0. So I got only 2 transactions. So support of X given goes to Y. X implies Y is where both these both X and Y occur together. Here I have 2 and total number of transactions is 5. So 2 by 5 is 0.4. So support is 40%. Here support is 40%. Confidence is how frequently items in Y appear in transaction that already contain X. So now you see the difference. जहां पे ऑलरेडी x आ चुका है उनमें से कितनी जगह y भी आ रहा है. So for x goes to y, support is a number of transactions where x and y occur together, but confidence is where x and y occur together given x has already occurred. So support count of x union y divided by support count of x. So milk, comma diapers, comma beer, I think they were two. If I remember correctly, they were two. And sigma x is milk, comma diapers. So milk and diapers occur in T3, in T4 and in T5. So जिन transactions में x आया वो तीन है, T3, T4 and T5. और उनमें से दो में beer भी आ रहा है. तो this has to be 2 by 3. So sigma x union y is 2 and sigma x is 3. So confidence of x goes to y is 2 by 3. You have with 67% of transactions will have beer if milk and diapers are already there in the basket. So that is the confidence with which I can say कि अगर किसी basket में milk and diapers हैं तो 67% of those transactions will definitely have beer. So now you will be able to understand why beer goes to milk diapers and milk diapers goes to beer is different. I hope this is clear. If you have a question, you can ask me. Thank you, Sachin. So why support? Support can help you eliminate uninteresting or by chance rules, because these rules are uninteresting from business perspective. We really can't make strategic decisions based on these rules. And support can help in efficiently discovering the rules by pruning out the number of item sets and reducing the number of comparisons. So given a set of transactions T, find all rules x goes to phi. So this is the problem that we will be solving. Given a set of transactions T, you will be finding all the rules x goes to y where support is greater than minimum support and confidence is greater than minimum confidence. Minimum support and minimum confidence will be given to you, or the data scientist decides what should be this percentage. So if you have some rules that satisfy or are above this percentage, then that is the rule that you will take into account. If not, then that rule will be ruled out. And if a particular confidence particular rule satisfied this confidence, so if I say minimum per support should be 60% and minimum confidence should be 50%, that is this x goes to y should occur in the transactions and it should have support of at least 60%, and this rule should have a support of at least 50% to be able to be considered as a rule. All other rules which do not satisfy these two things will be discarded. So you can have various rules given this data set. Where is my data set? You can have beer goes to bread, beer goes to milk, beer goes to diaper, beer goes to eggs, beer goes to coke. Then you have beer bread goes to milk, beer bread goes to diaper, beer bread goes to eggs, beer bread goes to coke. You can have so many rules for different item set combinations in the side of x as well as y. But you will be taking only those rules into account which satisfy this minimum support and minimum confidence criteria. This specification of min support and min confidence. It depends on problem to problem, and data scientist will decide which particular threshold he is going to use. So a brute force approach is that you find out, you list down all the rules. Bread goes to beer, bread goes to milk, as I said. You have listed down all possible combinations for the X side as well as the Y side, and you listed all possible combinations of X and Y. Then you computed support and confidence for all these rules. You have computed support and confidence for all these rules, and then you will eliminate the rules that did not satisfy minimum support and minimum confidence. Okay, so this is the brute force approach, but in association rule mining we will not list down all the rules. We will rule out some rules beforehand, and we will analyze only rules that might contribute. So not all rules will be analyzed, and we will see that how. So let's see that there be D items. Antecedent is K item sets. So number of ways to choose antecedent is D, C, K. And X and Y are disjoint. So to choose Y, you have D minus K, C, I ways. So this is the number of ways you can choose X, and this is the number of ways you can choose Y. So that is basically only D minus K. So you can have D possibilities at X. From D possibilities, from D items you can choose K items for X. But once all these K items have been chosen, you only have D minus K possibilities, out of which you can choose I items in the Y side. So how many total rules will be there? Sigma k equals to 1 to d dck, and 1 to d minus k and d minus k ci. So if you compute this, this comes out to be 2 raised to d minus k minus 1, and this is the computation dck 2 raised to d minus k minus, you can derive this on your own. This is a simple combination problem, and the final number of total number of possible rules will be 3 raised to d minus 2 raised to d plus 1 plus 1. This this computation is given in the book. So if you want to know this derivation, you will be able to find this. So if you have 1000, let's assume you have 1000 items in your Walmart inventory. So just imagine that if you use the brute force approach, how many number of rules you will have to apply. As D increases, this is an exponential problem that we are trying to solve. So basically you are saying that if minimum support is 20% and minimum confidence is 50%, you will be discarding most of these rules and you will be wasting the computation time. So our next lecture is to find a way to prune out these rules so that we do not have to analyze these many rules and do so much of computation. So we will be talking about these methods in the next lecture. If you have questions, you can ask me now. Otherwise, I can finish the class. The derivation is given in the book. This particular presentation is already uploaded on the YouTube with an introduction to association rule mining. So if you want to revisit this, you can view it. I will post the link also. If there is a question, please ask me. Okay. And let me give you an announcement. I think वो Tuesday wala we had postponed the assignment. So now that assignment will be conducted tomorrow 1 to 3, and but today for tomorrow I will not even give you 5 minutes extra because it is a very small assignment. 2 hours is more than enough for this assignment. So no extra time. If somebody is submitting it 5 minutes also late, I will not check it because it's a very small assignment. So please be prepared. and do it on time. Okay, if you don't have questions, you can leave the class. Otherwise, you can ask questions and then leave. Have a good day, everyone.